any last minute advice that, either of you would give to somebody like me just starting out and brand new to the journey?
Anybody will tell you this in the insurance business. It's not hard. The learning curve may be hard, right? But everything we do is literally like almost repeat, right? But we personalize it per client. If you know this is a career that can provide for your family for the rest of your life, why not give it 2 years, right? Why not get everything you want? Because after I promise you, after 2 years, if you do everything we lined out and you follow the people that have been successful in this industry, you grind for 2 years, great. The rest of your life is set and it's easy. It's easy. But you just have to make it.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Life Insurance Academy, and we have something special here.
And today is a treat. Today is a treat. I tell you, we have a special guest in here. We have Chase.
How's it going?
And the cool thing about this, and he's wasn't expecting this.
Let me start this. He's written $300,000 in annuities this week. Is that right?
No.
Okay. He wrote $3,000 of production in life insurance this week. Is that right?
Let's just say he didn't even know who we were probably 20 minutes ago.
What are you talking about, Zach?
So the cool thing is, and one of my favorite movies is Joe Dirt. You've ever seen Joe Dirt, right?
Yes.
You know,
dude, everybody just turned off the podcast.
No, they did.
Did you say it's one of your favorite movies?
Dude, it's a classic.
Okay,
but check this out. When he's cleaning the bathrooms and everything, and he pops into Xander Kelly's radio show, and he just throws him in there. This is kind of like the same situation. So,
but Chase is not Joe Dirt.
Right.
Seriously. So let's let you tell them. How did you get in this seat right here from your perspective?
Oh, wow. So the journey that I took, I currently work in construction, was kind of always interested about, life insurance and health insurance. And, I've heard from a few local people that I know who have been successful in this business, how they're making a difference in people's lives, which is what you guys talk about all the time. So I finally got tired of talking about it, and I decided to take some action. And so I signed up for the Kaplan course, and I was like, I wonder if there's any podcast or YouTube channels or anything as another resource to kind of help me further my education, because I'm so new, I'm so green. And here we are. So I came across the Life Insurance Academy podcast, and you guys have kind of helped me over the last 4 or 5 months, and it's been great.
So you've been listening for a while, and then you found out some information. What was it you found out?
That's a loaded question.
Well, you found out something about us. You found out something about Life Insurance Academy. Like, basically, you had thought we were in San Diego, California.
Oh, yeah. Right? So the whole time, when I found your all's podcast, I was thinking, these guys are in California somewhere,
specifically
Colorado.
San Diego.
I think it's your surfer vibe haircut.
I think it is.
Yeah. Just somewhere else other than Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah. And then I forget what episode, y'all were talking about, but it was, y'all had mentioned Louisville, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, I work in Louisville. I live in Indiana. I was like, this can't be true. So did some more diving in, reached out to Zach, fully expecting him not to respond to me, by the way, in the DM. But he's mentioned we're right here off, Old Henry Road. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. It just keeps getting better and better. Yeah. So my current employer, the construction company that I work for, is literally 2 miles from you all, which was astonishing. It was unbelievable. So I was like, this is too good to pass up. So I got to come over here.
Yeah. And so I want to call time out here. Every episode we do say reach out, connect, and I want to commend you. You're the first person to show up, right? Like, we've had people reach out through instant messenger, through Instagram, is that what the kids are calling it?
Yeah.
Through Instagram. You reached out through Instagram to Zach, and he did respond. And you guys have the same access. If you have questions, you have something you're trying to figure out, you can reach out through direct message, yeah, you can come by the office. We'll show you around.
Absolutely.
Have some fun.
And that's what's so cool about this. And I know this is, we really threw Chase off with this.
Yes.
Because he's like, hey, I'm going to come on my lunch break. And if you're available, that's great. I just kind of want to meet you guys and ask a couple questions. No big deal. We love that. We love bringing value. He shows up, and then he presents us with there's a list of questions here.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so green. Like this, I don't know what to ask. I got a lot more than this, but I just don't know anything, but I'm excited. I want to make a difference in my life. And I was like, dude, I'd love to help. This is what we're here for. Like, and then I looked over at Chris. I was like,
let's do this,
dude. He doesn't know us. Mm-hmm. He's getting ready to ask us questions. Let's not answer any of them.
Yeah.
Let's just throw him on a podcast, because literally him right now represents probably 80 to 90% of our listeners that are brand new, looking at the opportunity, trying to figure out how to be successful. And so literally we haven't even read these questions. No. I was like, well, let's just do it live. And he's like, yeah, sure. I got an hour for my lunch break, and we're like, come on, Adam. Adam put it all together. Like, let's go ahead and do a podcast.
Right.
And he's here. He's sitting in the chair.
Well, I appreciate you guys doing this with me. I mean, this is awesome. So,
we'll jump into this first question. Do we accept large checks of $10,000? Would you accept that, Zach?
That's the minimum deposit.
Yeah,
we do.
We'll take that.
Well, I was going to ask.
Adam Steffen.
Right. That's why we don't give you a microphone, Adam.
Yeah, he's needy sometimes. I
was actually going to ask, is there a commission that I get maybe doing the podcast?
Oh, nice. There you go. That's the right question, right?
No, and it comes in a form of value.
There you go. That's the right answer. Yeah.
But we didn't want to read these. We wanted them to be natural.
Yep.
These are unscripted. This is raw and authentic, and I think that's what everybody appreciates and loves about our podcast, because we're very real and transparent. And
for sure,
just pretend we're in my office.
Okay.
And you just have a couple
Except
questions.
for the big old microphone in your face. Right. Go ahead, man.
So again, these are pretty green. So again, I'm not an agent yet. I'm not. I literally just passed my exam Tuesday.
Congratulations,
this week.
By the way.
So appreciate that.
Great job.
So just applied for my license literally this morning. So
Awesome.
So all these are brand new. Hopefully, my goal was to kind of clear some of the air, get some clarification on some of the things that maybe I was confused about on, how to get started, or, what is my next steps? What is my journey looking forward, as potentially becoming an agent. So question number one, I was going to say, what do you recommend my next steps would be for someone who has just finished the pre-licensing course, passed their exam, and recently applied for their state license? So what would be your initial steps after that?
I will say I think a lot of people are asking that same question. A lot of times people are recruited and they know exactly where they're going afterwards. We did a podcast about this. I can't remember which episode it was, but you passed your test, boom, there's so much opportunity. You don't even know what to pick up, which direction to go.
Right.
So there's really, some opportunities where you can be what's called a captive agent. You can be an independent agent. And even inside of that independent agent model, there's all these other models that can be kind of confusing.
My biggest advice for someone in your situation, like Chris said, normally at this point, someone has already steered you in a direction. And that's the reason you got your license. And I know, talking from you, that's so cool that you had this internal drive and this desire to be a difference maker. And you said it in my office, and you said, instead of working to promote somebody else's name, you want to do your own family's last name and promote that.
Right.
And I thought that was so cool, because that's exactly what we do, and that's exactly the value that this industry brings. And but one thing you have to be careful for is to keep your mind open and pure to what you want to accomplish, because the dark side of the industry is the moment you get that licensed approved, you will be targeted by a ton of different groups and IMOs. And every single one of them is going to paint this picture, this dream that is better than the next, or they'll push down all the other ones. So you just have to know who you are, what you're looking for. And the most important thing in that is identifying what you want in mentorship, what you want in support, what you want in training, and what you really want to accomplish in this business, and make sure that your values align and with who you are, instead of the false promises or the inflated compensation they think they could paint a picture and win you over with.
Right. That makes sense. Kind of a lot to take in on that.
Well, it's important. I appreciate you saying that, Zach. I think that's important because there are a lot of ulterior motives and hidden agendas inside of this space that we work in. You know, we do see people who go into like a captive model, and they're so tied into that system for a number of years that they have no more access to their renewals. Those are held. So if they do want to go independent, they aren't free to take their renewals with them, things like that.
Like
so
their book of business.
They're swooped away with this enthusiasm and excitement, and all this stuff is overlooked, right?
Okay.
And it's very, like I said, it's very important to make sure that all those aspects of what you want to accomplish align with the group, and that you ask the questions.
Yeah. So when we say that, and let me clarify, because you may not even know what we mean. Like, do you know what captive means?
Like working for another agency.
Yeah,
like,
you're working for a...
Like you're representing that agency.
Correct. And you might even be what's called LOA, you know, where you only have a license and you get paid from the company versus actually keeping your own commissions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
They control your cash flow instead of you getting paid for each carrier.
Gotcha. Right.
So now that might sound... And here's the benefit of that is if you, you can't afford leads, you don't have a system, you don't know what you're doing, that can seem very attractive because they're providing value through support, through cash flow, getting you started with maybe a salary, something like that that's based on your production. Okay. So that is one option. You know, what we tend to see from a lot of people, and if I'm looking at when you say you want your name on something, I don't know if that aligns with what you're trying to accomplish.
Right. You know, I think initially, I think I'm kind of in like a rock and a hard place. You know, being someone who's so green and so new, I think I could easily see why somebody in my position could be persuaded by something, because, you know, they're like, you're so new. We've got all the support. We can teach you, you know, all that sounds appealing to somebody like me.
Right.
But what you just said, you know, thinking of long term, you know, after speaking with you guys about kind of what my dreams are, you know, I don't think that would totally align.
Yeah,
you know,
and some people's dreams may be that, you know, where they're just saying, man, I just want to work somewhere. It's more like a job where you're controlled, right? That's so this other opportunity of independent agent, like working with an IMO. There's that when we say that it's an independent marketing organization, right? There's still value that's brought. Like, you know, there are tons of them that offer systems, offer guidance, offer mentoring, offer leads, offer all these different things. They just allow you to be independent in that, where you would receive your own commissions directly from the carrier, and then you are the word is vested. That is the question. Am I vested from day one? What does that mean? It means that, God forbid, if anything happened and you made a change in your life, did you get to keep those renewals? Because that's
which is
the money.
big. Yeah.
Or do you own the clients?
Right. Yeah.
So those are important things to consider. Okay. Did we answer that question?
Are those pretty?
I think so. I know we have a lot of questions
I know.
here. So, I mean,
Chris,
Chris goes deep, man.
That's an important one.
So for someone that's new, obviously, as far as like when you're doing interviews or you have potential agencies that you're potentially wanting to get on with, are those questions that you can ask? Like, am I able to?
Let me give you some key
ones.
ones. Are you vested? Do I get to keep my book of business? Am I vested? Do I get to keep that? What does your support look like? Do you offer training? Are there leads?
Okay.
Those are the important questions. And guys, if you're listening to this and you're taking it in and you're thinking, hey, here's some other good important questions, throw it in the comments section as well.
For me, and I'll reinstate it again, it's if you said you know some trusted people in the business, like get with some people that you trust, that you know you could talk to, that's not going to pull the wool over your eyes, that they know that they have your best interests at heart, right?
Right.
Because even some of those things Chris mentioned, can say it's this training, this support, this all of these things, and you don't want to be feel stuck or feel like you were
Right.
misled in any way.
And is there a growth opportunity? That's a big one. Is there a growth opportunity? And that's another question. So
Okay.
good.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. We'll
No,
see you
that's
guys.
great.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
I know there's more questions. Go ahead.
There's only like 6 more. So the second one, and honestly, this kind of led right into what we were just talking about. So I was basically saying, should I get hired on with an agency, learn the ropes that way, or should I try to go more of an independent route? Maybe find a mentor, really kind of learn the ropes with them, or potentially pay for like a mentorship program and kind of learn the ropes that way, more like independently.
Okay.
So
the cool thing about this industry, it's not a hot and cold on that. There's every variation in between that, and so when you talk about independent or not independent or a mentorship program, that just all comes with the value that the agency brings. And I'd say the biggest thing that I would look for if I were you in this would be 2 things, and it comes down to the intentions of the mentor or the coach. Are they helping me get where I want to be in my life, or are they teaching me this because they want me to be at a level for them? Like, are you crafting a plan to help you build the life you want, and this is what it's going to take, this is how we're going to get there, this is how I'm going to help you achieve your dream, or are you helping them achieve their dream?
okay,
That's a big difference.
right.
That is a big difference, but there's all kinds of levels of mentorship. When you talk about independent, I wouldn't recommend with someone like you just completely on your own. I would recommend you need to plug in with an IMO that has all these values that you're looking for, but yet you have the autonomy and the guidance and the mentorship to grow and run your business the way you truly want to and desire, but you're fully supported. Like you have a huge family there that you know you could trust that can help you get there the entire time, so you're not on the alone, and they've been there before. So they've have a proven track record. They have credibility in the industry. They have people that have accomplished the things that you want to accomplish, so they can also tell you what to do, what not to do. This is easier. Let's help you here, and really help you move in that direction.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So the third one, I don't know. It kind of sounds like we already answered number 3. But I'll just kind of go on and say, if somebody else out there is as green as I am, they may be kind of thinking the same thing. So if you were to go the independent route and you're just starting that, would be, would you need to set up an LLC, run everything through there, market that, have everything, all the accounts, everything else that you would set up and have accounted for with an LLC. And if you do that, do you pay yourself an income, a salary out of that LLC, or, how does that look?
That's a great question.
It is. You taking this? Or you want me to take this?
You go ahead.
Okay, perfect.
You're a numbers guy.
Yeah. So like I said, when you look at the independent route, there's like, if I were in your shoes, with your experience, because I was exactly that. I was exactly where you are. To answer it, you don't need an LLC right away.
It's not necessary.
No, you don't.
Okay.
You don't need to. Technically, you're in business for yourself anyways. So you definitely don't need to set up an LLC now. Now, the benefits of being independent, and when I say the independent that you would want would be inside of an IMO, meaning your contracts are direct with the carriers, you're getting compensation direct from the carriers, but you have all the benefits and support and guidance of an IMO, right?
Right.
So, but also, a lot of times that IMO has branding, marketing, and reputation that you're able to pull from to help you grow and market your business. You can have a team name or an agency name or an idea underneath of it, but you would want to use that branding, because when you come to like serving clients, and your credibility is important, right? And when you can look at an organization and collectively you've served X number of families and you've been in business this long, it only adds to your credibility because you're a part of that system and that support in that community. Now, even inside of that, as your team grows or as you grow and start hitting different levels and really your business starts to take a hold of its own, you can certainly form your LLC at that time. And then at any moment, depending on which avenue you go, you can start marketing your agency in that manner. It kind of depends on the style of insurance you're going to be selling.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're going to have like a brick and mortar office where clients are then eventually, as you build your book of business, going to come in and see you, you would want to do that. So you're creating your brand presence, your name on the building, those types of things. But it can be powered by your IMO. So you're almost co-branding and building in that credibility,
Okay.
right? That's how I would do it. But getting started, you just need to come in, learn as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you have your goals lined out, ready to go, and you're just pouring everything you can into it and building it up and looking at those next steps when they come.
It is not necessary. Are there benefits? There are benefits in regards to tax protection and liability protection down the road. But in the meantime, getting started, it's not necessary.
Okay.
I do think, this is something we can talk about in another episode because of time, but getting finances in order, regardless of what you set up, you do want to pay yourself a set amount on a regular basis based on how much commission's coming in, because you do have taxes to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
You have costs of running a business. That still has to happen, regardless if you're an LLC or you're an independent contractor using your Social Security numbers, your EIN or whatever.
So to answer that, it's in a very short form. For one, I did a YouTube video from Life Insurance Academy about paying yourself a salary every week.
Okay.
And you can do that with or without an LLC. When I started, I paid myself a salary without an LLC. And it kind of breaks it down on how to do that. It helps your cash flow and managing and investing in your business.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
Give us like a danger question because like we just talked about, we need some energy.
Yeah.
So I think I'm about to scratch that service on the next
Oh.
one. So,
Yeah.
Sounds like a Chris
baby.
baby.
Let's go.
So it kind of sounds like both of you may have experienced this starting out, and I feel like a lot of people listening who are just starting their journeys are probably in the same situation that I am. But the fourth question here is, what can I expect out of if I'm working full time for another employee who is the standard original old school kind of schedule,
Mm-hmm.
the 8 to 5, in a cubicle, blah blah blah. What can I expect out of having to do that, and then also getting my feet off the ground in this industry?
Can I ask you a clarifying question in that?
Yeah.
Are you saying you're working full time, and can I do this part time? Or are you saying if I were to stop doing that and I started doing this full time?
I think both.
He's asking how to do that, how to look at a possible transition.
I think first would be the part time.
Yeah.
And then when would you know? Like, is there a cutoff? Like, that you feel confident enough to be like, okay, I can finally leave my previous employer, and I know that I can do this full time.
I will tell you, when I started this, I did that. I was working part time at another position, actually a vendor that you guys use at your construction. But and then I was doing this part time. But my part time allowed me to have 3 days in the field, full 3 days in the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the measure is paying attention to the income that you need to make your life work, to make your family work, and paying attention to what those 3 days are generating. What are those 3 days generating? And those were the questions I would have, with Roger. And Roger would show me the numbers, and he's like, Chris, you're making more. You're making more in those 3 days. Like, it's costing you money to keep doing this other job part time. But I don't know. It was just a security issue for me, and I had 2 young children and all this, and
Exactly.
and he was right, but Roger was right. Like, based on what was happening on those 3 days, I was dwarfing this, and it was just a security issue. So those are the numbers you're going to be paying attention to, because here's the tricky part about this business on an independent side. There's no ceiling. Like, do you want to make $500,000 in a year? You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
right? You want to make 300, 100 grand. It's all based on your investment and your activity in your business. That's all it comes down to. Here's the tricky part about this is there's no floor on this business, and it's all based on your activity and your investment in this business.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think the easiest way to transition that, and then I'll get into mine because I was exact opposite him. I chopped everything off and went full board. So I'm the other side of that. But you need to know, like, obviously you've got your licensed, you got your health and life passed at the same time, which is incredible. You found time to do that, right? So the best thing for me is you need confidence in order to make any sort of transition, however is going to fit you. You need to make sure that you have good communication with your family. You understand the end goal, because you can't have that vision in your head, but it's not communicated properly to your wife or your kids or whoever is supporting you. It could be the in-laws or your parents that also help with the kids during something like this because of your time, right? But take that time and invest it in training and learning, going through courses, dialing this in as much as you can. So when you're ready to even think about part-time or full-time, you already have all that behind you. So you're going to be putting in extra time now, right? And then beyond that, as Chris said, you'll be able to evaluate. You can go in the field, you can check it out, you can put in maybe a couple of days on the weekend. You can start figuring out what's going to be the best for you. And based upon your confidence and the training and support that you have, that's where that decision will come in.
Okay.
For me, I explained to you a little bit, I was working 3 different jobs. So to add another one part-time, and the opportunity was way different back in the day than it is now. Way different.
You guys were doing like wagons and things like that.
Yeah, like Oregon Trail. That's how we were going out to see our clients. No, but the opportunity was basically only traveling out of town. So how can I work 3 other jobs and then part-time go out of town to serve clients? Like, it just doesn't work. So I had to make the decision of, and I think it's good for some and it's probably bad for others, but I knew myself and who I was, and I knew my mental toughness in that when that happened, there literally wasn't a choice, right? Because I had responsibilities, I had bills, I'm giving up 3 different jobs at the same time in order to replace that, and it had to go like immediately. So failing wasn't an option, not being good wasn't an option, and I was consumed with making it work, and I did. So.
I will say this: we've seen people. It all comes down to mental toughness and work ethic and emotional intelligence. Because I've seen people come into this who are incredibly hard workers. I'm assuming you're a hard worker.
I like to think so.
Yeah, I can tell.
He's not going to say no on the podcast.
No, but
Come
I can tell.
Chris.
Like, if you're talking to a guy who's in construction, who's working.
Well, he showed up and he brought a list.
Right. Yes. So. But that's great, right? But I've seen people who've come in with that same makeup and stopped working. They had a good work ethic when there was somebody to tell them what to do. Isn't that something? You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what happened to that guy? Where did he come from? Like, he came, he had calluses on his hands. He was working 60 hours a week. And now he's filling his time with training, getting his office right, and all that stuff. Like, you have to have mental toughness and emotional intelligence to be able to go to work. That's
self-discipline.
Yeah, self-discipline. Important stuff.
Okay. So basically not taking advantage of the freedom that this industry
very well said
basically allows you to have.
Yet.
Okay.
Yet. There's a time for that. It's just not now. It takes all the gas in the rocket to escape gravity. That's what it takes.
Gotcha. Let's see here. I think we kind of answered it already, but number 5 was basically like, would you know when to kind of go out on your own, even if you had like a younger family, which we kind of already talked about that. I feel like kind of what I'm hearing from both of you, it's kind of a feel thing and a confidence thing.
And a mentorship thing. Like, you want to make sure you're part of an organization that understands your needs, not their needs from you, that will meet you where you are, help you get to where you want to go, right? And chart that out.
Bingo.
And have the pulse on that, right? Yeah. That's the goal. That's what you're looking for.
Okay. All right.
And it gives you a confidence to know that they're not going to let you fail. Right. It's that relationship. That's why that's so important to have.
And I feel like for somebody new, I feel like that's the biggest thing in starting something new.
Correct.
is because you're not educated yet,
Mhm.
you're not fully confident yet, and you're in the products that you're selling and the things that you're telling people and families. So basically, kind of what I'm hearing is that once you kind of feel confident and educated in those things, and you have the support system that you feel like you have, or that you feel good about,
Mhm.
then that's kind of your tell signs that, hey, maybe I can kind of go do this independently and kind of do my own thing.
Exactly. And even
Yes.
like as Chris said, he was making more part-time than he was full-time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I-
you knew.
so
when to
what
jump.
if I
Yeah.
do that full-time, right?
That was the question. If you did this full time, what would it be?
But here's the other mistake people make. They eliminate that other job,
Mhm.
Oh.
but they still work the same number of days as they were doing part-time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That doesn't make
Right.
sense.
So like if you were doing 3 part-time, that's not going to cut it. You need to
Yeah.
go to the 5 or the 6 or the,
Right.
Gotcha.
There are a lot of agents who don't make it. And there are a lot of agents who don't make it because they think they're working a full time career and they're
Mhm.
working a part time job.
Mm.
They just convince themselves they're working full time.
And kind of going back
There's
to
your
that,
soundbite. There's your soundbite, Adam.
and kind of going back to that freedom. I mean, so do you see a lot of them taking advantage of
Yeah.
the freedom
That's the
offered
biggest
at the
mistake that
beginning?
agents make.
Yeah.
The biggest one. New
Okay.
agents. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And that goes back to the conversation with your family and their expectation
Mhm.
as well. Like I'm telling you, like second year, third year, I can't remember which year. I told Lisa, I was like, this is the year of suck. That's how I explained it. That's what I told her. I was like, this year's going to be a challenge, just how much time I'm putting in the business right now. So,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
she understood. She was behind me. She supported me, and
I think
it worked out.
it's crucial for you, and I recommend when you make a decision like this or you look at a decision like this, that you bring her along with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like let her come in if you're sitting down and talking to a group, and let her meet the people. She needs the confidence
Yes.
in them as you do, that
Mhm.
they're not going to let you fail,
Right.
because
That's big.
she's going to have certain uncertainties and fear and anxieties. Even though she loves you and believes in you, knows you can do it, there's still some other things that could help strengthen that. And that's the core of the people and the character and morals of who they know is going to be helping her husband, right?
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's big. I didn't think about that. So next
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm kind of unique. So after,
Chris is too, don't worry.
Yes.
So I live in Indiana. So I live maybe like 5 minutes north of the river.
Mhm.
So, but I've always worked my entire adult life in Louisville. So obviously I got my residence license in Indiana. Obviously I kind of want to expand upon that because there's there's a network, there's people I know in Kentucky and
Mhm.
things like that as well. So what would be the next steps as far as retaining or obtaining a non-resident license
This
in
is simple.
Kentucky? Okay.
So there's a website.
Okay.
It's NIPR, National Producers Registry.
National Insurance Producers
National
Registry.
Insurance. Yes, there you go. Yeah, Chris got that.
Okay.
But you just literally go in there. You'll have a profile already with your resident license there, and you'll hit apply for a non-resident license. Good news, you don't have to retake any tests or anything.
Thank God.
So all you have to do is literally you'll just fill out that little application fee that I think pre-populates it for you based
Every
upon
state has
your
a
other one.
different price too.
Okay.
And then you
it-
pay the fee.
Yeah, it ranges.
Okay.
And usually it can be anywhere from $25 to like Illinois, I think is one of the most
It's like
expensive.
$350 or $400, but
Usually it's around $100.
generally $80 to $100
Okay.
is what you can expect. And once you pay for that, you obtain it. You generally get it if you don't have any crazy background issues within 2 days.
Okay. That's fine.
So you're ready to go and write business, and then all you
Okay.
got to do is just renew that license every
year.
is
Pay the
just
fee.
just as you do your normal one, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So no additional coursing.
no,
Nope.
not at all.
exam.
It's
No,
easy.
it's easy.
You can-
Okay.
Now
And-
some states are goofy, and you might have to get fingerprints. Like if you wanted to work in Florida, for example,
I think
like
it's-
you have to give
South Carolina has
fingerprints
that as well.
and stuff like that. That takes a little longer. But no, it's really easy to pick up a non-resident because if you ever look at the option of selling any type of insurance products over the phone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you can literally like, hey, you're over here in Indiana. I'm going to work, and maybe I'll sell some stuff on the on the West Coast because it's 3 hours behind us, right? So I can be working at 9 o'clock and they're just getting off work over there, and I can still call and set appointments and make sales up through almost midnight for us, right?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So you can pick up non-resident license very easy.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's good to know.
Just, I don't know if this is on here, but a couple things you'll need to pay attention to. You're required to carry E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance. There's a cost to that. The group that you join can help you with links or directions on which carriers to connect with.
Okay.
That is a requirement. And you do have to have continuing education every 2 years to maintain your license as well. And that's something you have to pay attention to.
And does that apply to every license that you hold, or just
No.
is that kind of like a blanket for all of them?
Yes.
It's a
Okay.
blanket, yeah.
So it's the 24 hours, I think Indiana's
Credited
24
hours,
hours.
yeah.
and
Something
then,
like that, yeah.
3 hours of ethics. And
Mhm.
Yep,
Correct.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. So if you just accomplish that would satisfy, something if I had in Kentucky or Illinois or
Yes.
Michigan.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Good to know.
It's a good question here.
So these last two are kind of more broad. I'm just kind of trying to pick your all's brain a little bit. So the next question would be, is there any books or, education resources or anything that, somebody who's so new like me that could buy or, go pick up or whatever
Yeah.
that would greatly kind of, again, help get my feet, off the ground?
There is a great resource. I'm going to try and think of the name of it. It's called Life Insurance Academy. Is that right?
That's it.
Life Insurance
That's it.
Academy.
Yeah.
Ding. Life Insurance Academy. Highly recommend it.
How many episodes do we have now?
At least 7.
It's got to be.
It's got to be maybe 9.
Adam, we got more than 7?
How many we got?
We got more than 7.
A lot.
Yeah,
We got a lot of episodes. We have courses and coaching. Also, you can go to lifeinsuranceacademy.org and check that out. I mean, we have a great relationship with Cody Haskins. I don't know if you've heard of Cody. He's actually Cody. I hope you saw that. He shook his head no.
Yeah.
He knew Life Insurance Academy.
Can you do this
Sorry,
for the
Cody.
camera? Cody who?
Cody who?
Oh, that made me laugh. Yeah, Cody's a huge collaborator, marketer, trainer in this space. He's the biggest one. I got to give him the head nod.
You don't weigh that much.
No. No, Cody's phenomenal. He's got great resources through Cody Haskins.
Okay.
And you can just look him up. You'll find him on YouTube. As far as books, I know Zach.
I'd say us and him together, and we do a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, we collaborate a
But
lot.
we're all over the place. I mean, we are big, and he's huge on YouTube. We're huge on podcast.
Okay.
We're the #1 Life Insurance Academy podcast out there. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
And for sure, but we also do courses, we do boot camps, we do trainings, we answer phone calls and messages. We do anything we can to help anybody at any time. But we also have presentations. We have underwriting guides, tells you how to work every single carrier, how to write the business, how do you know which carrier to use with this health issue. We have a presentation you can walk through, and it basically sells itself. We have little coaches in cars. We have everything that you could possibly need, even to a lanyard badge that you could put your face on and go to the door with if you're door knocking.
Wow. That's amazing.
So everything you can think, start to finish, we have that available as well.
I will say, as far as there's tons of books. I mean, Daniel Pink has a lot of books on persuasion and sales. There's How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Sales by Frank Bettger. That's a great book.
Slide Edge.
Slide Edge, great. Slide Edge is phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
lots of great material.
5 levels of leadership.
And whatever you're listening to, like, it's important what you're putting into your head as you're doing this, because you do face rejection, you do face doubts and fears and all this stuff. Like, developing yourself is massively important in this business. So that was a great question. I appreciate you asking.
Yeah. So self-improvement just as important as the education factor?
Yes.
100%.
Okay.
This industry is mental. We
Okay.
can teach anybody how to sell, but we can't teach you how to want to get out of bed.
Right. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So last one, just kind of open-ended, just any last-minute advice that, either of you would give to somebody like me just starting out and brand new to the journey.
First thing I would say is give yourself time to win.
And that's what I was going to say.
Like, the people who I can't think of an agent that I know who has stuck it for a year and a half, and then quit. Maybe I can think of a handful, but almost all of them quit are within the first 3 months.
Mm-hmm. And this was so. To elaborate on Chris's answer that he stole from me,
I did.
is the number one thing is like he said, commitment, right? Like when I was moving into this business, it was stressful, it was hard. The easiest thing, the number one reason, in my opinion, that people fail is because they always have that plan B or that doubt, and it's always, bad week, I don't think I'm quit, it's not for me. Like I gave myself a full year, and I was going to drag my teeth on the pavement. Whatever I had to do, I was going to make it a year. And then at the end of that year, I was going to give it my all, because I knew I wouldn't have any regrets. If I gave it my all, I could walk away fine, right? So I trained as hard as I could. I put as much time. I asked as many questions. I got, as many mentors, anything I could do for a full year. But at the end of the year, this is the most important part. At the end of the year, I didn't assess all the stuff I went through, how hard it was, how much I struggled, how many times that I just was losing confidence, or how much my emotions went up and down, or how much or little income I made, because you're probably not going to make a gargantuan amount of money in your first year, right? But at the end of the year, what I assessed was, what is everything that I learned about myself, about my mental toughness, about my personal and self-development, about the people around me, and about my knowledge of insurance. I had to learn how to talk to clients and listen and to hear their needs and learn how to ask questions. Like there's so much people skills that you have to learn in this business, because it's really not you going in the home and talking. But at that 1 year, I'm assessing with everything I've learned now and who I am today, am I a better person? And if I started over again from year 2 to year 3, but I'm starting from this level of experience, this level of knowledge, this level of education, and already been through the struggle, what could year 2 look like? So instead of saying, what was year 1 like, what could year 2 look like? And that's the difference maker.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you feel like all that carried over pretty well, to your second and years beyond?
Absolutely, because to be honest,
it's cumulative.
Anybody will tell you this in the insurance business. It's not hard. The learning curve may be hard, right? But everything we do is literally like almost repeat, right? But we personalize it per client. So when you're looking at that, if you know this is a career that can provide for your family for the rest of your life, why not give it 2 years, right? Why not get everything you want? Because after I promise you, after 2 years, if you do everything we lined out and you follow the people that have been successful in this industry, like you grind for 2 years, great. The rest of your life is set and it's easy. It's easy. But you just have to make it.
Just got to grind.
And that's a decision.
Show up. Just show up.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
So that was your list.
Mm-hmm.
What's different now for you from the moment you walked into this moment?
Well, his lunch break is almost over. I'll tell you that.
That is true.
Are you guys hiring? I've got 3 minutes left.
We'll talk afterwards.
Right. No, I mean, it's, I mean, you guys know, I mean, being so new, it's a lot to take stuff in and have it stick. I mean, I've realized over the years with a lot of things that I've done, I'm more of a rep kind of guy.
Yeah.
I've got to rep them out, and I'm more of a trial by fire kind of dude.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm going to learn a lot, like you were alluding to, the first year and into, the second, third year, even. But again, it's well worth it, right? It's setting you and your family up for the rest of your life. I mean, you can stand on your head for 2 years.
Well, you know where you're going to be if you don't in that same cube.
Exactly.
Right?
And I'll be exactly where I am right now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which we know don't want to be at.
I definitely appreciate you coming in. I know we threw you into this.
No, this has been awesome.
Well, bro, and I'll tell you, bro, you brought a ton of value today.
Oh my gosh.
I know you just brought on a list of questions, but your willingness to be vulnerable and put yourself out there and ask these questions. You have helped so many people today. So we thank you for being here. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not the last time I stop by.
Maybe not the last time you're on the podcast. Who knows, right?
Exactly.
I'd be happy
how
to
cool
do it.
would it be to bring him back after year 1?
Yeah.
And we replay clips of this episode and what he's learned now.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. A little
That'd be
progress
sick.
report.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it is.
Well, thank you, Chase. We appreciate it. Guys, we hope this brought you a lot of value, especially for new people. If you have people you're talking to who are interested in the business and they're not sure, or they've asked you these questions and you didn't know how to answer, share this with them. But thank you guys so much, and we will catch you on the next Life Insurance Academy podcast. See you then.